Would you like to learn how to use Bittrex.com, which is currently my favorite cryptocurrency exchange? I'll show you inside Bittrex.com. I'll show you how to do all the basic things in it, plus the most crucial getting started steps. First, if you've never heard of Bittrex, what is Bittrex.com and how does it fit into the larger picture of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and trading? Bittrex.com is one of the top exchanges in the world, but you might not have heard of it even. I mostly traded on Poloniex. I'm looking, this is CoinMarketCap.com. It shows the top cryptocurrency market capitalizations by volume. So the last 24 hours, Poloniex is consistently number one. Kraken is consistently up towards the top. I've not used okcoin.cn or Coin1 or however you say that. Huboy, no idea. Bittrex is currently, today at least, the sixth of the cryptocurrency exchanges. I really like Bittrex because there's so many different currencies you can trade in. It's very fast to upgrade your account to get the maximum trading volume. And the downside of Bittrex, though, you have to trade in US dollar Tether or the same one that's available for Yuan for China. So it doesn't have real fiat currency trading, although I believe they're adding that to it. I also use Bitstamp. I really like Bitstamp for straight to BTC to USD or XRP to USD. I also really like Bitfinex. That's where I sold the majority of my Dash when I sold my Dash Masternode. I like Bittrex is currently where I'm doing the majority of my trading and my buying and holding. I don't do much trading, but I currently am buying and doing my selling mostly on Bittrex because it has such amazing selection. Look at these Bitcoin markets it has. Poloniex, I was frustrated consistently with the selection. The Bittrex.com is trading fast. Poloniex right now often goes really slow, and that motivated me to switch and sign up for Bittrex. If you look at Bittrex, it's got a lot bigger selection of currencies. You can do things like sort based on the order. So I can see I can sort this on the upper right by what order these were added, and I can easily sort it this way to see the very newest currencies, which currently is Aragon, which is down 67%. Ouch. You can even sort by things like spreads. You can see how wide the market is. Jerry, that's not even the right term. You can see the difference between the buy and the sell price that's up. It also has this change in the volume, just like Poloniex. I find it works much faster, and I'm very happy with the selection. Now, one of the most amazing things I've experienced on Bittrex.com so far is the application for the enhanced account. Bitstamp took 24 or 48 hours to verify my account so that I could trade huge amounts of money, as much as 100,000 in Bitcoin back and forth in one day, which was well over $500 in fees, plus even more loss in the exchange. Bitfinex took several days to get my application approved. Poloniex is still fooling around with my application to be able to trade larger amounts, but Bittrex.com literally gave me an enhanced account with the ability to trade up to 100 Bitcoin per day that I can withdraw. Bittrex literally did that in just a few minutes. I couldn't believe it. I went through and set up two-factor authentication with Google Authenticator, which I highly recommend. And I submitted my identity verification, and it did it almost instantly. That is one of the best parts I've seen about Bittrex. They have a really good identity verification system that's fast. So I'm grateful that if for some reason I get a hold of 100 Bitcoin, I can withdraw all of it in one day on Bittrex.com. If you are mining or if you're getting little transactions on a regular basis, Bittrex is also one of the only ones I'm aware of. It has this auto sell feature, which is really cool. You can just, if you're mining, for example, you can send your mining rewards directly into Bittrex and it will auto sell it for you. That's really cool if you've got something that like a master node, or if you take orders, and if you just consistently want to dump, say, an altcoin for Bitcoin every single day. That is a really cool feature that you can set up on Bittrex. It will automatically dump it into Bitcoin for you. Now, what is not ideal about Bittrex? I already mentioned it a little bit, but if you want to trade fiat currencies, they don't currently have that. They are working at it, but right now you have to use US dollar Tether, or you have to use the Chinese version as well. So if you go over, for example, CoinCap.io says the Bitcoin price is 1,800. Well, if you want to use US dollar Tether, it's currently 1,866. So the US dollar Tether price may actually become significantly different from the US dollar depending on what's actually going on. Whereas, for example, on Bitstamp, you can just, or on Bitfinex, if you decide you want to pull everything into US dollars, at the drop of a hat, you can do that. Not quite as easy on Bittrex, but it's still functional. On Bittrex, you've got a ton of different wallets to choose from as well. So if you just, there's wallet after wallet after wallet. It's very easy. Say I want to make a deposit in Cloak Coin. I can just click generate a new address and do a deposit. So far, these are the deposits I've made. And withdrawals. Bittrex is also one of the fastest withdrawals I've made. I withdrew 2.5 Bitcoin on it, and it came through hours faster than Bitfinex. And Poloniex took literally 5 or 6 hours longer than Bittrex. I was very happy with that. Now, the more people use it, this could change over time. I've made lots of different, lots. Jerry, 6 is not lots. I've made 6 different deposits in the first week or two that I've used Bittrex. I'm 200 Dash here, and then about 4 Bitcoin that I've deposited in. I trust Bittrex. I've got about 10 Bitcoin on Bittrex currently, which is about 18,000, whatever it is today. So that's where I do the majority now of my buying, because there's so many options on Bittrex. If I look down here, lots of times when I've looked to trade currencies, I see one that I want to buy, and then I went over to Poloniex, and it's not even on Poloniex. I'm like, well, this is depressing. So, is that what you said? Yes. So, if you're going to use Bittrex, Bittrex is the first of these exchanges that pretty much forced me to use two-factor authentication. Now, Coinbase did have me get text messages, but Bittrex pretty much demands that you use two-factor authentication if you want to be able to withdraw. Two-factor authentication is awesome. That means if you steal my password, but you don't have my two-factor authentication device, then you can't log into my account, even with my password. So I'm grateful two-factor authentication helps make an account more secure. It also makes it easier to lose access to your account. As it says, please back up your secret key. If, let's say, you have your phone as your Google Authenticator and you go lose your phone and you don't have your secret key backed up, guess what? Even with your password, you can't log into Bittrex or wherever you've got your two-factor authentication. So it's important you've got to back up your secret key. And that way, if you lose your phone or whatever you've got your two-factor on, whether it's your iPad or, I don't know, you probably could put it on a Kindle or another computer, whatever you've got your two-factor on, you need to have the secret key backed up. And this, I didn't notice at first. I didn't notice there was a secret key to back up, and I just blasted right on past that. And then I had to go through and disable two-factor authentication, copied my new secret key, and re-enable it. So make sure get two-factor authentication up and back up your secret key. It's good to use Google Authenticator because all the main exchanges that I've used, Bitstamp, Poloniex, Bitfinex, Coinbase, they all take Google Authenticator and they all do two-factor authentication. And then theoretically, you can back up all your two-factor keys in the same spot. And then your friend who knows where that is can totally come in and sign in and clean you out that way. So if you're trading in your dorm room, you might want to keep that in mind. Your clever roommates looking over your shoulders, waiting to clean out your Bitcoin, your Bittrex exchange. So here's how you actually make some trades. I'll make some actual trades now just for fun on here. We'll pick out a couple of currencies. What I like to do is I like to look at ones that have been flat or down over time. I don't like to buy stuff that's up usually because that's the biggest risk. I started buying into Bitcoin, and there's a few different things that can happen if you've never traded or you're just learning about cryptocurrency trading. There's a couple of things that can happen that are bad. First, you can be all excited and put a bunch of time and energy in and buy and lose money. Now think about that. You've paid your time and your money to trade. Is this something you'd like to do for fun? That's a valid question. The first year I traded Bitcoin, I lost over $5,000 and spent hundreds of hours doing it. Is that something I would have thought of as a leisure activity? Absolutely not. It was stressful and I was trying to make money, which really made losing $5,000+ frustrating. The other thing that can happen to you that's really bad is you can get lucky and win. That's even worse. That happened to me playing poker. I thought I was just the next World Series of Poker champion because I bought into a $10 poker tournament and I won $1,000 out of it while I was getting drunk the whole time as well. And I thought, my God, I have some amazing poker skill. And then guess what? I won another $10 buy-in for $1,000, but I proceeded to lose thousands of dollars after that playing poker as I bought into higher and higher stakes game. Like, well, I'm the man. Now I can buy into a $100 game. Hell, I can buy into a $500 game now that I'm so good at poker. And the people who play small stakes tend to be easier in poker, at least, to win against. The people who play higher stakes tend to be a bit better in skill. The same goes with cryptocurrency trading. If you buy into something and get lucky, it can be easy to think, well, I'm just the man. You could think, I'm grateful this year I've made about $75,000 in profit in cryptocurrency trading. Now that's before taxes. After the IRS gets their fingers into it, it's $50,000. And I've reinvested, as you can see on here, about $20,000. So really, that's a net difference of like $30,000. And anyway. What was I saying? I could easily get a big head and think, well, I know what I'm doing with crypto trading now that I made all this money. I'm going to dump $50,000 in here. I'm going to start trading. I'm going to try and I'm going to try and turn this $50,000 into $100,000 and this 100 into 200. I'm grateful I've made that mistake so many times that I can see that I kind of got lucky and I kind of promoted my own currency. I kind of made my own opportunity, and that it's still just as easy for me to lose money as it's ever been in the market. I'm not smarter than anyone because I happen to invest in one currency, which I then promoted a whole bunch, which then went up a bunch, and then I dumped it as it started going down. I'm not smarter than anyone because I did that. That is a pretty typical investing strategy that was mentioned in Money Master the Game. So I didn't even come up with that either. The point is, cryptocurrency trading from an ego standpoint is very risky. If you start losing a little bit of money in it, there'll be a temptation, if you're like me, to try and put more in and get that money back and make it all about how much money you've made. You may need, if you want to do this long term, it might cost you several $1,000s to learn the basics. So I've given you this up front because I've made all these mistakes. All these things have happened to me already. You can learn from my experience instead of having to do it yourself. But hey, if you want to do all the same things I've done and be aggravated as hell when the Bitcoin price plummets and you're losing money and you're throwing money and you're trading all these and you're wasting all your time and your money, and your wife and your brother are saying you need to stop and you may have a problem, well, you can go do that if you want to. I'll show you how to do it now. So as I figure out where to stick my face here, and here's one of the coolest things I like about Bittrex is this easy way to see new currencies. So to me, one of the attractive things about Bittrex is that it makes it easy when these new currencies are put on. Some of these new currencies might be a really good opportunity to trade, and some of them might be a complete sinkhole. You might buy into a currency and it just might be way overvalued, and the value of it may drop 99.9% on you. Wow, my jaw just cracked saying that. 99.9% is possible for a massive drop like that to happen with these online currencies. It may go up way more than that too. So I like how easy it is. You can just sort. So where did I get to this? I went over to markets here. and you can sort then by the date the currency's added. So let's take a look at this Aragon one, which I guess has plummeted 60 something percent. It's the biggest down one right now. So if you look over here, and you can then switch on each of these, you can switch it to like a day. So it's so new, it doesn't have that much data. You can switch it to like 15 minutes here if you want. Now, the more you play around and switch these things, the more it'll take the table. And I'm using the mouse wheel to scroll right now to move this back and forth. So let's say I want to just buy a little bit of this. What I've got on the left, I've got the charts. I can see the price was way higher when it got listed, and then I don't know how that works, but maybe someone lost a bunch or it just came in down here. I don't know, but this is where the price is at now. I can see the volume of it on here, so I think this is 690 Bitcoin in volume that it's done. And you can see the 24-hour high here, and you can see the exact price in US dollars, which is 364. I really like that. Poloniex is frustrating if you want to equate stuff to US dollars and you don't just want to be stuck in Bitcoin. Maybe there's a switch or a setting you can put. I haven't found it yet. So then to actually trade, there's these two basic windows down here. You've got the buy Argon and you've got the sell Argon. And so you need to have some Bitcoin available to buy Argon. Sometimes the Bitcoin, I'm not sure why it doesn't populate correctly. Like I have Bitcoin in my account, but for some reason, maybe someone just unloaded all of it while I'm making this tutorial. That'd certainly give me less to do today. So you need to have some Bitcoin available over here to buy anything. And then once you go down to the bottom, you can go over here. You can see then there's no open orders that it's showing yet. There we go. It's loading some of them up now. So sometimes on Bittrex, you have to refresh like that. Sometimes it screws up and it doesn't load correctly. So now it shows that I've got my 2.5 Bitcoin available. Now what I've got over here are I've got the bids. So to help this make sense, if you want to buy Argon, these are other people who want to buy, Jerry, you're not saying it right, Aragon. If you want to buy Aragon, then, or I could just say Ant. These are the people down here who also want to buy Aragon, or Ant, or the abbreviation. So if I'm putting in a buy order, it's essentially, and depending on the price, it's essentially going, this is the buy side. And then on the right side, this, if you want to sell, this essentially is the sell side over here. So this means if I want to buy and I want my order to instantly be fulfilled, then what I need to do is look over here and pick out a price. So let's say I want to buy, I'll just buy like 1/10 of a Bitcoin over here. So let's say I want to buy, I could buy 238 Aragon. So what I've done, I clicked on the ask. Now this, whoever's put this order up, they've agreed that if I pay the 64500 price here, they're up to 1.5 Bitcoin that they'll give it to me at that price. So this means as soon as I hit the buy Aragon button, it gives me a confirmation up in here. It gives me a limit buy, which means it won't buy it for more. But if there's one available for less, then it will buy it. So that's good. But that means on the downside, if I put a price in that's higher than whatever is on the market, then it will stick my buy order up there and I'll have to wait for someone to come along. So I hit confirm. Now this says verify this order. Once, if you hit your order in and you decide to sell everything at once after that, then that's it. So once you push that confirm button, the order is going through then. So it says the commission on here is 0.59 Bitcoin, but I don't even, some of these don't even make sense the exact way they put them in here. Because if it says commission, it says BTC right here, but I think it's got some of these in the wrong columns because I put, oh, well, no, actually I put a ton of Bitcoin in there. So I totally screwed this up. It's totally, so there, I hit it again. I put it in a wrong window, which is not a big deal. So what you have to do, you have to put the total Bitcoin you want right there. And then this is your price in Bitcoin. So if you click on this order, it'll populate it there. So fortunately, I looked at the confirm window. I would have dumped all of my Bitcoin into there if I'd have hit that. So that's what the confirm window is good for. Now I can see the commission in Bitcoin over here. This is the commission that Bittrex is taking out of it. This is the subtotal in Bitcoin I'm putting in. This is the price. And now I hit confirm now that I'm not dumping all my Bitcoin. Now you'll see up in real time over here, which is really cool. It shows you when the order's been placed. It shows you when the order's been processed. So now you can see I have less Bitcoin over here. And I have more Aragon over here now. So that's how you execute an order. And do I want to keep some Aragon and maybe it'll go up after it's been down 67%? I don't know. I can zoom in. I can look at the charts over here and see, well, it's been up and down. It's been as low as down, like you can see the 24-hour high and lows too. So I just bought it at 64 and it's been as low as 52. So there's no telling. I prefer to buy on more of a flat market though. So if you take that out, I prefer to buy on more of a flat market though. So for now, if I hold the Aragon, this potentially gets more complicated for my taxes, because what if it goes up and then I have the capital gains, and then whenever I sell it, the more of these you transact, the more you're potentially building your accounting work up and up and up. The worst thing you can do is trade a bunch of different currencies in really small amounts, hold them for a little while, like a week or a few weeks, and then sell them, because then you're theoretically making a whole bunch of accounting work for yourself. In which case, then you might, depending on where you live, then you might need to simplify it a bunch, which that has its up and downs as well. So it's nicer if possible to either buy things and hold on to them for a while, because let's say I hold on to this Aragon for a year, I don't have to worry about it. I just buy it. I don't have to put anything on my taxes because I've just bought it. Now, when I sell it, then I have to pay tax on that. But if I just am holding on to it, then nothing has to happen. So for now, maybe I'll just hold on to my 1/10 of a Bitcoin of Aragon, which was newly launched, and see how much that's worth. Give it a few weeks or months, see how much that's worth like next year. Because this is the exact day that it came out here. So if I go back to markets, I can just go to Bittrex over here, just click on the logo, and then it has all the markets on here. So if you want to get into some new currency, for example, this is the newest one that's on here. The new ones are, I'd say they're quite risky. Some of them, the price will come out just right. Some of them will come way high. Some of them will come way low. So let's say I want to buy into this new one also, and it just came out like a week ago. And then I'll show you how to look at the charts a little bit more on this one. So this has all the same kind of data. It's loading up. Now, it's got the 24-hour high on here and 24-hour low. So it's been, I mean, it's stable relative to cryptos. But so I can zoom back out here and see it's pretty much trended down since it came out. When it came out, I used the mouse wheel. If you're like, how are you moving that? I used the mouse wheel. So right when it came out, the days or so after that, it's pretty much trended straight down. So buying one of these can be really risky, because some of these will just keep going down for another 6 months or a year. And at the same time, though, buying a brand new currency like this, it could be a great investment. There's lots of currencies, if you bought them right when they came out, you might have a whole lot of money now if you bought them right when they came out and just bought a little bit. So what I can do is buy a little bit on this if I want to. I mean, this doesn't look that attractive in terms of it's pretty much came straight down. I don't know anything about this particular currency either, which is a big problem. If you don't have any idea about the currency itself, what you can do essentially is just bet the market and buy a whole bunch of different currencies. But I don't have enough money in here to just buy a whole bunch. Now, sure, if I sold all my Bitcoin, I could put 1/10 of a Bitcoin into 100 different currencies. But I think Bittrex has almost 200. So I can't afford to just be putting 1/10 of a Bitcoin into all these different currencies. So what I could do is buy, let's say I want to put in a bit less. I could buy, let's say, a hundredth of a Bitcoin. Now that's like right now, that's like $18, I think. If you divide 1,800 by 100, that's like $18. Now that's not too serious of an investment. Now, if it goes up 10 times, then I've got $180, which is pretty good. But then the temptation comes in like, well, if it's going to go up 10 times, I might as well put in $180. Then I'd have 1,800. But what if it goes down 99%? If it goes down 99% and I put in $18, so what? I lost $17. But if it goes down, if I put in $180, it goes 99%, then I've lost $178 or so dollars. That does not sound like so much fun. So one strategy you can do if you don't know anything about any of the coins, you can just go in and buy a little bit of a bunch of them. And then as I've done on Poloniex, I spent $600 on Poloniex. I bought a hundredth of a Bitcoin on 50 different coins, and it made $1,000 in a month doing that. So if the market's going crazy on a bubble like it is now, that's a great strategy. If you just buy a little bit of every new currency that comes out, occasionally you'll be a huge winner, and one of them will go up 100 or 200 or 500 times from wherever it was at coming out. Still, you could do the research and balance it out and put more into a smaller number. I try and do a combination. I try and buy the market because I don't have time to research 190 different coins and look and be a part of the community. So I try and do some basic research, find a few that I like, promote them, and then also buy into some of the others for just a little bit. So for example, on this one, I can easily just grab a little bit of it at this price, and then so I'm on the buy side. So if you're on the buy side, you're basically, if you want an instant order fulfillment, you need to work over on the ask side. And if you want instant sell, you pretty much need to work over on the buy side and pull your prices from there. So to pull my price in here, I did it correctly this time. I put in my 0.01 Bitcoin, then I simply clicked on the price I want. Then I hit buy human IQ over here. I can see the commission's really small, which that looks right. I can see the total for my order, and then I hit confirm. Now the order goes in over here. The order was instantly fulfilled because it was sitting right there. And then as soon as I fulfilled it, someone put in an even lower price order. So that now if I immediately try and sell it right now, then I would only lose a little tiny bit. So if I sold this right back right now, I'd get almost the exact same amount that I originally sold it for. But hey, why not just buy and hold this for a while? It's essentially, I put in like $20 right now, and then I've got, if it does really well, then hey, I'm invested in it. So what I also want to do, let's say I have some buyer's remorse about that last one. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I put in $180 into this currency I've never even heard of before. Oh my God, it's going to go down, blah, blah, blah. So let's say, okay, now I decide I have some buyer's remorse. All right, I want to sell now. So let's say I put in 1/10 of a Bitcoin. So let's say I want to sell it back down to what I just did on the last one. So in order to do that, what I need to do is go over here and find a order in Aragon. Now I have 154 Aragon up here. So I need to find an order that covers 154 Aragon at the price I've put it in. So what I can do now, I can click on this because that order will cover it right there. And I've got the price in, and it didn't put the price in right away on it for me here. So it put that in. I can click on the price, and there, it now filled the price in for me on those, and then I can change the Bitcoin, and it will change the amount it sells. So now if I hit sell Aragon, you'll see they're taking another small commission from me, but if you trade a bunch, these add up. So now I placed my ant sell order. My ant sell order was instantly filled. You'll now see I started with about 2.55 or so Bitcoin. Now I have about 2.53. And now that ant sell order was just filled. Now if I go over to my order history, I can see both of these orders in detail. And you can see I just lost a little bit doing it that way. So if I zoom in a little bit, you can see I bought 154 for essentially 64,499, and then I sold 143 for 63,001. Now, this is the basic problem with trading. There's a difference between the up and the down. Just by buying and selling repeatedly, you're in the middle of that difference between the market. Theoretically, if you traded enough times and the market stayed exactly the same, you would essentially lose all of your money eventually between just the difference in the market. So volatility is good for being able to make some money, but the problem with volatility, it can make it even worse. Imagine if I'd bought that and it went down 15 or 20% between the time I bought it and the time I sold it. That cryptocurrency trading is extremely risky. Now, sure, there are some upsides to it, but there are some huge downsides as well. So I'm grateful I've taken 30 minutes here to show you exactly how to make trades on Bittrex. If you'd like more tutorials and videos like this, would you please leave a like on this video? That way more people like you will find this more, and that way that's what motivates me to keep making videos like this. If you'd like the very best of what I have to offer, would you try visiting the University of Jerry Banfield? I'm putting all of my online courses on here. I've currently created more than 80 courses. I just launched my new school called the University of Jerry Banfield, where I hope that you can get much more than I did out of not only an undergraduate education, but out of a graduate education. I've borrowed $50,000 in student loans, which now I've made up enough in crypto to pay for that, which I'm very grateful for. Yay! And I want you to be able to get a more valuable education than I did going to school for 6 years. My vision, my goal for you on the University of Jerry Banfield is to be able to learn skills that are extremely helpful for you. There's very few people in the world that know how to trade online currencies. Now, in your world, maybe a lot of people do, but relative to the whole planet, almost no one knows how to do this. When you put a bunch of skills together that no one knows how to do, or relatively few people know how to do, you automatically make yourself really valuable. That's my vision, my goal for you in creating this free tutorial, and then I'm able to do so many free tutorials because of your generosity and the people watching alongside you who buy courses on the University of Jerry Banfield. That's what allows me to teach so much of what I know for free. And I put the very best of what I teach on my university, and then I do free preview videos on YouTube essentially to give you the basics like I've just done with Bittrex. I've got a cryptocurrency investment and retirement planning course, which has 2 more hours in on showing you the strategies. I've given you the tip of the iceberg here. I show them in the course on Poloniex. However, if you'd like me to make an entire Bittrex course, leave a like on this video and subscribe, and take a look on the University of Jerry Banfield. There may be a whole Bittrex course by the time you go to look on there today. Thank you very much for watching this. I love you. You're awesome. I appreciate the time you spent with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day today.